Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to MotoGP 18, and welcome to the Grand Prix of the Czech Republic from Brno. So you can see there we were on the pole, and I got kind of clever on the start and tried to block a little bit. The bike has not been accelerating the way I want it to, even though I've asked my mechanics to tune for acceleration. So you can see we got hammered on the start. We're back to 4th or 5th. Even before we were through turn 1. And I'm really fighting the bike this weekend. I don't know why. I did qualify on the pole by about 1/4 of a second, and that's about right for me. If I'm up too far, it's like that's no good. There's something, I got to do something about the AI. I got to bump it up a little bit. And if I'm off the back, then obviously I'm off the back. So that was just about right for me. And I felt good once we get settled in here. First couple laps are a little bit dicey, I have to say. Yeah, fighting the curbs, and I'm still continuing to struggle. Like, God, I'm still continuing to struggle to get the bike in right on the apex, right? Just paint the curb and then back out. I struggle with it mightily, but I feel like I may be getting a handle on sort of the cause of that. Actually, I feel like I'm going to be getting a handle on several things in this sim. So let's back up a little bit and I'll tell you what's going on. And we are brawling with, I know Aaron Canet is in front of us and Jorge Martin is in front of us, and then there's one other rider. And I know these riders represent real people in the real world, so when I forget a name or something, I'm not intending to be disrespectful. It's tough to remember everything from the race, and then of course in replay there's no overlay to let me know who I'm racing. So we'll back up a little bit. I did the development programs. The bike is coming along. I feel like it is significantly faster, and I feel like because of the good weekend we had last race, the good race we had last weekend, I guess, better way to say it, and the development programs, we got some good points last week. We did develop, I want to say, the chassis, the aerodynamic, and the engine, and we had already worked on brakes and suspension. So did the development programs this weekend. They went okay. Tuned the bike. I tuned it for, now again, I'm not tuning the bike manually. That's still a little bit of voodoo to me. So I'm leaving it up to the mechanics. I just tell them what the problems are, and then they give me the options to fix it, and I select yes. So what I told them was, the bike is opening up in corners, and we tried to sort that out. I told them the bike does not have very precise steering. They made some changes to sort that out, and also not enough acceleration. So I feel like they nailed the acceleration because I just bumped the rev limiter in top gear at the end of the longest straight. And to me, that's ideal as far as gearing. So we did qualify on pole. We did, you saw we bobbled the start a little bit. But this is something that I noticed about this sim. There are no, at least that I can see, there are no traditional braking marker countdowns, 300, 200, 100, etc. So I feel like I'm really struggling with brake points. And I think that could be, yeah, there's those curbs again. I feel like that could be a big lesson that I need to learn, is where do you brake when you don't have those traditional countouts. Now, I don't know this, but I would speculate that the reason we don't have those in MotoGP is you really don't want to hit those, even if they're paper or inflatable, even if they're as soft as can be. I would guess that you really don't want to run into anything with your body at 100 miles an hour. If you throw away a race car, you're protected in there. You're in the roll cage and everything else. So if you hit some signage, like I said, even if it's paper, or in the Red Bull Air Racing, they use the inflatable pillars. Everything is geared to safety, but I still feel like there's just the timing. Now, I could be wrong about that. It might have nothing to do with safety, and it's just a traditional aspect of MotoGP. I don't know. But realizing that today, it was like a light bulb went off, and just figuring out, how do I time these entries? So you need to time them based on features on the track, things like where a ripple strip begins or ends, where you go under a gantry, things like that. So that's something I need to start working on. And the other thing, and this will be a continuing struggle for me, I believe, is getting the AI where we want it to be. And, this bike is barely developed, and I'm still kind of a junior rider. Where should I be finishing? That's a legitimate question that I have, and I want to adjust the AI accordingly, so that's where we finish. And if a novice rider on an untuned bike should be finishing mid-pack, then that's where we want to finish. I don't want to potato the AI. I guess I just don't know how good I am at this game. So we are, I believe we've settled in about third. We've kind of shaken off the rock and roll pain train, and we are behind Canet and Martin now. I say Canet. It's a Spanish rider. Last name is spelled C-A-N-E-T. I've been saying Canet. Initially, I thought he was French, so I went with Canet. Could be completely wrong. If I am, I do apologize. But we're trying to make some moves here, and what's great about this game is the pack does hold together fairly well. And if you, there's a little ding-dong racing, if you screw up badly enough, like right now I'm in P2, if you screw up badly enough, you will go from P2 to P15 in the blink of an eye. And I really do like that. It keeps me on my toes, and it makes me sort of use my judgment when I think about passes. Is it worth it to make this pass right now and pick up one position? Is it worth it to risk making this pass right now and losing 10 positions? And that has given me a lot of, I guess, patience as I'm learning this sim. And that carries over to other racing sims that I'm in as well. And I think that's, and I've mentioned this before in other videos, we're gamers, and we've grown up with this stuff. And in gaming, you can always win. If you set the difficulty, if you set the AI up that way, you can always win. So as sims become more and more realistic, it's challenging for me to understand, I guess, the balance of a realistic finish versus a good finish or a fun finish. Everybody wants to win, but I don't, and I'll say this over and over, I just don't know where to set the AI. So learning the patience, learning the, I guess, the realistic approach to racing, where you don't necessarily go from worst to first in a single lap. It may take a dozen careful, cautious, patient laps to make up 3 or 4 positions. That to me is realistic racing. And in some cases, you can't. I did a race at Bahrain, I want to say, last week in F1 2018, and I knew at a certain point I was going to finish P4, and there was just nothing I could do about that. The car in front of me was 15 seconds in front of me, and I was making up a tenth of a second per lap. Well, it's just not going to happen. Unless we have 150 laps to go, it's not going to happen. So that is, to me, that is realistic, and it's what makes these sims awesome, because you can't, once the race starts, your setup, the development, R&D stuff you've done, all that goes out the window. It's what you've got at that moment in terms of the equipment, whatever sim you're in terms of the equipment, and also your skill level. That's what you've got to work with, and it just might not be enough. So we are starting to catch up Jorge Martin, and I want to say this is going to put us on about lap 5. And it's a relatively long lap. It's like a 2-minute, 14-second lap. So I believe by time, yeah, man, just so far off that apex. By time and by distance, I believe Czech Republic is one of the longest circuits on the calendar. Cutting that grass. So it is. It's a relatively short race as far as lap count. But we are, and I'm so focused on Martin, and I have the map in my HUD when I'm racing. Again, not because I need it to know the track. I actually prefer to have it off for that reason, so I don't have the option of knowing what turns are coming. But I zoom it in far enough that it really doesn't give you any idea of where you are on the track. I like it because it shows where riders are in front of and behind me. And again, that may be cheating a little bit, but it's nice to know what you're dealing with. So we've got Kane a few seconds back, and then a few seconds behind him is the pain train, and we're just gradually, patiently trying to reel in Jorge Martin here and not make any mistakes. That's the critical thing, is that we not make any mistakes. Now, he does have me on power, which I thought was weird because I just made improvements to the engine in the R&D, but I can always get him on braking. It's like I can get everybody on braking, but then throw away the apex and he gets me back. It is, I wouldn't say it's a mystery to me, but I am really trying to figure out, like, where is the break in the chain here. Now, something that I can tell you, and something that I realized this time, this race, applying power and applying braking really radically changes the handling of the bike mid-corner. And I know that instinctively from car racing. You know, I understand braking and driving the front tires into the ground, really increasing the friction from the front wheels by shifting weight forward, shifting weight to the outside, accelerating out, shifting weight to the rear, and getting your rear tires to bite and dig in as you're accelerating out. I get that instinctively. It's a similar concept on two wheels. It's just manifested slightly differently, and I'm getting used to it. But I guess what I'm realizing is, as I'm really braking hard to try to carve in on these apexes, it's like well, that'd be great if it wasn't that tank camera that looked exciting. What I'm realizing is, as you're braking hard and it's lifting the rear wheel, it's sort of pushing you out, and when you accelerate and dig the rear wheel in, it's a lot of different things. Let's go to a different camera here. And we're going to do that with, I want to say, not that one. Not that one. That one. Let's try this one for a while. See if we can get this pass a little better. Now, this is turn 10, Kevin Schwantz. I have really good luck through here. And I think that may be the final pass of the race right there, which would put us on about lap 7. So yeah, that could be, there might not be a whole lot to see as far as racing from here on out, because I'm pretty sure I lead for the end of lap 7, all of lap 8, and all of lap 9, but we'll know in a minute. But yeah, I just continue to fight with these corners, and I feel like it's just going to click for me. I know in four-wheel racing, it seems like it's a lot easier to make mid-corner corrections. You know, tighten it up a little bit, open it up a little bit, that sort of thing. On two wheels, it's like your apex and your trajectory are decided as you're coming off the straight. Like, as you enter the turn, as you begin to throw the bike down, your entire trajectory through the entire complex is sort of committed. You can make minor changes to it, but you can't radically alter where you're going to hit that apex. I mean, it's like I see potential there. And then the other thing is that obviously that's different than four-wheel racing is when you do make a big correction mid-corner, particularly slowing down, you've got to bring the bike up a little bit. If you slow it down and maintain the same lean angle, it's just going to carve inside and most likely high side you. So as you slow down, you need to bring the bike up a little bit, and then everything, for me anyway, everything just goes absolutely to pieces, and that corner is hammered. It can never, it's just gone for that lap. So I feel like I need to get better at setting up and just having that perfect entry and that perfect trajectory all the way through. and not make those mid-course corrections. I feel like that's what's killing me. I mean, that's decent. That's a nice smooth radius. It was just a little too far off the apex. And I think this is lap 8. And then we got one more. One more? Two more. We're close to the end. So yeah, man. And I'll continue to, what I decided is I'm going to tick the AI up 2 clicks every week. And I'll do that till I can't compete. But I feel like as I'm learning the game and developing the bike, then we'll take the AI up as well and continue to keep things fun and competitive and interesting. And we've got, this is round 10, so we've got 9 rounds left. So that's another 18 points of AI. It's not going to be at 100 at the end of the season, but it'll be getting up there. And I also feel like that's a nice kind of slow, incremental, you know, it's not going to be a big shock to me like I end up way off the back. Although, to be fair, I've ended up off the back sort of randomly. Just like that happened at Mugello, and it's why we got rid of the Honda and switched over to KTM. It wasn't quite a rage quit, but it was close. I mean, the same bike that we had won on the week before, we ended up in P19 out of 20 riders and 1 DNF. So we could not have done worse in that race. And that was, it's frustrating. And it's tempting to blame the AI or to blame the code or to blame the patch or whatever. But I know realistically that was probably me just having a kind of a bogey track day. But either way, it's no fun. I'd like to, even if I finish mid-pack, as long as I'm finishing mid-pack consistently, then I know I'm riding okay and the AI is set appropriately. So we'll keep ticking it up because I think, I mean, we were in third place in the championship points before this race. And we're out in front, so it's looking like we're going to win. Spoiler alert. It's looking like we're going to win, so, but I have not seen, I jumped right into the replay after the race. I have not seen where we landed in the points, so I'm curious myself. I know it's the 3 of us. It's myself, Martin, and Kane up front, and Bezecchi, I believe, is also up there. He's one of the top 3, top 4. So we'll see what the points look like when we get done here. And I think it's either this lap or the next one. We'll see. Man, I need an overlay. Or I need to just record live and then do the replay and mix them both together. Beautiful. One more lap then. Yeah, I'm really, let me see. Is this one? Now, this is possibly my favorite view, but what I don't like about it is it doesn't pop up when you go into turns. He's busted. Nope, think I had it. Stand by, I gotta flash through a few of these. This could be it. Yep. Don't like the tank cam. Never have. Just creeps me out with that big alien face. There we go. So yeah, man. I'm digging this game. And I'm looking forward to now. Remember, we started in the Red Bull rookies. And I was debating staying in that for 1 or 2 years, 1 or 2 seasons, you know, to really learn it. And then, of course, I didn't. Jumped up to Moto 3, and then I said, well, I'm going to stick with the same team for at least 1 season, probably 2, you know, to learn it. And then halfway through, we jumped ship from what was it, Petronas? We jumped from Petronas to Red Bull. So at the end of this season, I will most likely go ahead and jump ahead to Moto 2. I feel like we're making some progress. So we'll jump to Moto 2, and then we'll start to focus on getting up to MotoGP and getting on Ducati. But time will tell. In the meantime, yeah, I'm really digging this game. Glad I got it. It's so different than any other racing sim that I have. I think it adds some nice variety to the channel. There he is. Is this it? Last one? Yep. There you go. There you go. So, let's see how we did. All right, so we did beat Martin. We did beat Kane. I don't even see Bezecchi. Kaito Toba has been moving up, though. He's on my radar. Let's see where we're at. All right, so we did bump Kane, and we are second in the championship points now, 32 points back. That's going to be tough with 9 races to go. It seems easy, right? It's only one position, but that's going to be tough. So we'll see if we can do it. I don't know how fair it is that we would win a championship in our first season in Moto3, but we'll see. Right on. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of MotoGP 2018 from the Grand Prix of the Czech Republic in Brno. And we'll see you next time. Take care.